What's going on, everyone? This is Courtney Rollins, Aqua Team Properties LLC. I'm here with the awesome Crystal, part of the Rising Tides intern program. How you doing today, Crystal?
I'm well. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm great. I'm great. I think we both are wearing our spring breaks really well. If y'all don't know, Crystal is a full-time student. What? Why don't you tell them what you're doing?
I'm currently, well, not full time. I'm part time because I do have to work full time.
I dig it.
Um, I currently go to school for architecture, and interior design, and looking to actually just maybe just be more interior design and get like construction management on the side.
So it's going to serve you well when you're flipping houses and doing all type of things, commercial spaces and residential spaces. That's awesome. So you're a part-time student and full-time, have a full-time job,
Yes.
and building your skills to have your own wholesale company and whatever you want to do. Hopefully, you'll take these skills and do whatever you and it serves you well. We hope. We thank you, appreciate you for trusting us to help share what we can share. I'm with the Aqua Team Properties, and as I've said before, the Rising Tide Intern Program is not something we like blast out there. It's just our way of sharing and tracking our journey as we grow and as we learn this whole wholesaling game. I've learned from so many people. Always got to give a shout out to Brent Daniels and the TTT program because they've been amazing. There's a lot of free information out there as well. The Maxwell's of the world, the Wholesaling Inks, Pace Morby's, Jamil Daniels. There's a wonderful, amazing people and community out there that anyone can learn from. We don't claim to be gurus, and we have tons to learn. But one of the best ways to learn is to share. So I'm glad we're able to share with you, Crystal. Today, I wanted to chat with you about how to respond to sellers who say they didn't want a lowball offer. So I hope you get your notes and your pads out and ask as many questions as you can, and so that hopefully this will be useful to you and useful to whoever's out there watching. Please like and subscribe, folks. It helps us get to more people. It helps us reach more folks. It's the algorithm that YouTube and Google and all those places like. So please do so. It really helps us out. Thank you very much. So back to the lowball offer. I mean, no one really wants a lowball offer for their property, right? This is something they lived in for a while. It's something that they even, maybe it's an investment property. It's something they have an idea of the market, what they sold for down there, what the Zillow estimate says, all the different types of stuff, right? You've run
Mhm.
across that? Well, I wanted to share that for many wholesalers, a lot of us, we're thinking, okay, we got to get it for a low, cheap price so that we can, assign it quickly. And quite often, that's actually true. That's the case. The better price we can get it for, the quicker we can sell it to someone else and make it solve that seller's issue and solve that investor's issue. But that's not always the case. Sometimes a low ball offer or a low price is not what's best for the seller, and we have to come in with the seller as the hero of the story, and the seller, what's best for the seller um, has to be center to us. So I wanted to share with you a couple of things or phrases or techniques or things that you can respond to help the seller avoid that low ball offer if that's not what's for them. All right. And so again, Crystal, for you right now, you're in the space where you're cold calling, you're qualifying the leads based on CPR time. Wholesaling Nation, Andre King, Andy Speed, shout out. But that's condition, the price, the reason they're selling, and the timeline. The main thing you're doing also is just establishing rapport. You want them to feel like they're your friend once you get off the phone with them. You're like the nurse, checking the temperature, checking to see what the weight is, see what the issue is, so that when it moves on to the doctor, that acquisition manager can give the right diagnoses and give the right prescription for the issue that's going on. Now, eventually, you're going to step into the acquisition manager role, so I want you to really pay attention to all sides of it. But let me share my screen so I can show some of those things real quickly. What maybe some cool phrases or things to think about next time you encounter this. So someone says, "Hey, I don't want a low ball offer for my property. Or you're going to give me a low ball offer." Here's just a few phrases I want you to think about, Crystal. Is you always want to be affirming the seller. They're the heroes in the story.
Mhm.
They're always right. I completely understand. We try to offer as many options that hopefully make sense to everyone involved. In fact, I actually that's strong, but I think it's stronger to come back with a question, open-ended question that allows you to keep them to keep going. Because remember, if they're talking and you're listening, that's where you want to be. So
Okay.
perhaps it's I completely understand. Well, what if we find out? What if we find out what the situation is and see if we're able to offer options that work for you? All right. Or sometimes you might go into, well, my job is to get as much information as possible, and someone on my acquisition team will hopefully present offers that make sense to you. Does that make sense? You hear a lot of folks in sales ask that question, does that make sense? And they may respond, no, it doesn't, but 9 times out of 10, they're like, okay, well, that makes sense. Let's see what's going on. And that's when you just go right back into the other part of the script. So what can you tell me about the property? Or what can you tell me about the situation? Why would you want to sell in the first place? I know we called you, but why would you want to sell? And then they go right back in the script of, interviewing for the issue or the pain that they have, so
Mhm.
that you can see what the impact of that pain is, so that you can find out if you or the acquisition team has any tools in our tool belt to help out. If we're always going in with, hey, we have to get it at a discounted price, that's
Mhm.
only, it's like going in with a hammer for any job when sometimes it may need a wrench or it may need some other type of tool that's going to be more effective for that seller. Does that make sense?
Mhm. That makes sense.
Awesome. And so then the next thing is the acquisition team. When it goes to the acquisition team, it's first going to go to the lead manager who looks at the deals or looks at the calls that you've acquired, that you've qualified, to see who and where it should go. But when it goes to the acquisition team, here are the few of the things that we may offer to the seller to help them figure out, what the best offer is. And these don't always come out. You don't present these all the time, but you may, in the course of the conversation or the touches, or even in the purchase agreement or offer letter. That's my dog in the background. You guys fight fair. Um, I'll show you the cutie. I don't even know if you can see her
Oh
face.
yeah, I can see her.
Let's see, kid.
She
There she
got
is.
a
What's up,
ponytail.
Charlie? You say what?
She has a ponytail.
Oh yeah, you know it. You gotta stay cute, don't you, Charm? Charm. Charm for Charm City, Baltimore. She fighting
That's
that big old chippy over there. But anyways, the acquisition team is going to take a look, and they may, and with different, building rapport and understand where the seller's coming from, they may say, hey, well, you might need to list this. We have great realtors on our team and our network that will really help you do what you need to do to list it. They'll tell you what needs to be fixed up. They'll set up all the viewings. They'll come take pictures, do whatever it needs to do to help you get that market value you need. That may be what they need if they're trying to get that top dollar, you know. Or you may say, we can give you a full price if you're willing to take payments, right? If they're willing to, especially if they have a very low or zero mortgage, if they're willing to take payments on their property, then we're able to offer a premium price because you can buy anything. I can buy $100 million property if they let me buy it over the course of 100 million years or something. But regardless, you can buy anything with the right type of terms, and it's usually those situations are win-win-wins for everyone involved.
okay.
Um, or you can say, hey, I can help you find contractors to rehab it yourself or rent it out yourself. So if you need folks to figure out how to rent it out, or folks to help you figure out what the rehab budget is, or folks to property managers, or to fill your properties with tenants, we might be able to help you, or we will be able to help you with that situation. So this is again the acquisition team providing value with no thoughts of anything in return but adding value. Or hey, we can work together. How about we buy for this particular price, and then once we are finished fixing it up and putting it back on the market, we resell it or refinance it, and we share in the proceeds with whatever makes sense, right? Whatever makes sense. Um, and then there's another option. So that's working together. Then there's another option where you take over the payments. Maybe they have a mortgage and it's just being a burden to them, or they're landlords and they're just so tired of dealing with the toilets at night, tired of dealing with the tenants, to be quite frank. You say, hey, we'll step in, take over the payments, take over the responsibility, take the title and the deed, and give you the price you're asking for, and we will buy it at and completely buy it out later on down the road when the market allows us to get the property price that you're looking for. And that's a great way to again solve all the needs. And then finally, you might say, hey, well, it looks like you're looking for speed, you're looking for convenience, you need this cash quickly for X reason. It looks like you might want to be able to, we can buy it now for cash, but we need you to be able to trade, speed and convenience for a discounted price. And just like my mentor said many years ago, I was sitting there and he said to folks in the auditorium, "Hey, who wants $100 if I ask you to come up these steps and get this $100?" Everyone raised their hands. A couple of people even tried to rush rush the stage. He said, "Oh, wait, 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 whoa. Well, what if I told you that the $100 was in $1 bills? Would you take this $100? Or what if I told you you could have either this $100 and $100 bills all over the stage, or $50?" And many people were like, "Yeah, sure, I'll still take that. I'll take the time, pick up that $100, you know?" So, okay, cool, cool. Well, what if I told you that you can have this $100, but it's all pennies and it's spread out under all this trash spread out throughout the school? Who wants to take the $100, right? So
Mm.
it really brought home the idea of what's worth my time. And for some sellers, they may not realize it until the conversation that you've had, or they may realize early on, but they may not realize that, hey, actually speed and convenience is what I value. I value my time, and I value being able to have professionals be able to take care of this situation for me. And I'm willing to take a lower price and trade discounted price for speed and convenience. And so those are things to think about when you're, talking to sellers and buyers, or sellers, and they don't want a lowball offer. We're just trying to see what the options, what the pieces of the puzzle are, so we can put that puzzle together and see what picture fits best for you.
Okay.
So, what are you thinking about? What thoughts or questions maybe you have?
Well, when you just did that example with the $100, it makes sense. Like a lot more sense too, with like the speed and convenience in terms of what's worth my time. Um, I want to say when I was talking to people yesterday and they were saying like they didn't want the low ball offer, um, just seeing like the questions that you put up, like being able to have those questions, like to say, hey, I'm just here to collect the information. I send it over to my acquisition team. Cause even like yesterday, one guy kind of talked rather long, but
Right.
he ended up saying like asking like, "Oh, are you working for a company,
Mhm.
working individually?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's not just me, but just having those extra questions that you had like just put up, I think could kind of help with like the questions I got yesterday because I definitely got people that say like, yeah, I don't want no lowball offer. I'm
Right.
like, well, I don't know what to say to them. So like now I have
Yeah.
it.
Confirm it. Yeah, I completely agree. Who would want a lowball offer? Yeah. If they don't want a lowball offer, that means they want to sell, because we can't convince anybody to sell the property.
Mm-mm.
But if they already said they don't want a lowball offer, that's already saying that they want to sell. So we got a toe in the door, and we can see if we're the ones who can serve and help them. So yeah, so I'm going to send you this link so that you can. I know you took notes, but so that you can add it to your repertoire too, when you come across these, because you definitely will come across it again. Absolutely,
So I,
absolutely.
I do have a question. So like one question is I've gotten because like I've asked them like, well, why are you considering selling? And they were like, well, you called me.
Right, right.
So what's the comeback on the fact that they like, oh, you called me?
Hey, you can laugh. Hey, absolutely, completely understand. We did call you. I know we called you, and probably bothered you and all. Um, and then that's really it. Yeah, confirm. Yeah, you're right. Confirm. And then you can go in to asking about another open-ended question about the condition of the property. You really want to open up so that you can really see, because people are guarded. We're bothering them. We're taking their time out of their day, so we got to make sure that we keep them open. So just maybe laugh it off. You're absolutely right. I know we bother you out of the blue like this, but um, is anything else you can tell them about the property, or and just pivot to a question where you can sit back and get ready to take notes and see where they are. Yeah, yeah. I've had that happen so many times. You called me. I was like, yeah, exactly right. Or another thing is, anything besides price important to you? You know,
Mm,
anything besides the price important to you? That's another good question to ask.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else you're thinking about?
No, those are the ones that like came up, especially because of yesterday.
Well, Crystal, this is week 8. You are hitting your groove. You've already hit the numbers that we've asked you to hit for the week. I want you to keep grinding, keep going. This is tough. Like, this is tough work. This is not easy. It gets you get more skilled at it, but nothing can replace like putting in the time. until you start being able to leverage out other people's time. And still, you have to be there to support and provide that professional development with them, because you're working for them when you need to have employees or anybody supporting, because they're the ones, working. They're working for you, but you're working for them. So you got to really be able to show up and show gratitude and show competency as well. Um, Something I heard earlier today that I wanted to bring up too is that you might be experiencing the 3Ds as I think Tom Kroll described it, and I heard it from the Carrot Cast. Was it Carrot Cast? No, it wasn't. It was Wholesaling. But Tom Kroll described it as the 3Ds, and that may be doubt in your coach, doubt in the process, and most important and most damaging, doubt in yourself. So I definitely want you to know that can come up, and anytime you're experiencing that, just there's a poem we say in Mega Sci-Fi, you're only facing what other men have met. This is everybody's been in a situation where they're making calls, if that's the route they're going, or they're trying something and they don't feel like they're getting any traction. But recognize and know that if you put in the work, this system will and does work. And that's why I sent the video to you last week with me teary-eyed last April, talking about how I was discouraged. I know it may have sounded like it was positive, but I was discouraged. But as I know, I can do this. If somebody else can do this, I can do this, because it wasn't like I'm brilliant or anybody else is more brilliant than anyone else. Is who's willing to put in the consistent time and action. And action is going to alleviate any anxiety you have. Just keep taking action, keep trusting the process, and you're growing, you're getting better and better, and it shows, because shoot, you already hit your numbers, like I said, and it's already Thursday, and you got a couple more days to go. Yeah. So proud of you. And if you have any questions or thoughts, or does that make sense in the 3Ds? Does that sound familiar at
Yeah, I
all?
was about to say I've definitely had to keep telling myself, like, don't grow weary. You're gonna reap. You just planting seeds. It's gonna grow. So yeah, I definitely have to keep telling myself as like I'm going through the calls and even just going through the day. I did start reading the book Never Split the Difference, and like even like how he talked about like in a way it's kind of like emotionally intelligence, that I realized that he's talking about. I haven't got too far, but just listening to how he was talking about the bank robbers and just
Right.
going through the process, I was just like, oh man, it's not. I can see how it relates now to like talking to people on the phone. And then like even kind of mimicking, like I understand like the tonality. I'm still learning that.
Right.
Um, but also like kind of mimicking their words, like the last three things they say. So like
Right.
that's something to start trying to do. So yeah, it's a lot, but
I'm
it's
glad you're reading that.
growing.
I'm so glad, because it reminds me of some of the great, emotional intelligence. It makes us all better people. I remember Chris. You're talking about Chris Voss's book, the amazing former FBI terrorist strategist, who was like, "Hey, in the world of negotiation, people used to say that a win-win or 50-50 or is the outcome we want. But in terrorism negotiation, you can't have a 50-50. You can't take half the body or half the people. You never split the difference. So how do you make sure you get what you want by helping the other person out?" And she used tons of emotional intelligence. And I was thinking again about the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Dale Carnegie.
Hmm.
And when I first read that in college, I thought it was like, this is manipulation. But I've really grown to understand it's really not about manipulation at all. It's really about how do you show up as an authentic person and understand who and how people are, and listen with these big ears, to have a servant mentality and heart to help people. And in that way, you're going to get everything you need out of life by helping other people. And it's a beautiful thing. So having that emotional intelligence and speaking to people really allows you to be a better person, allows me to be a better person. That's what's great about this journey. The things I have to do and break down and be honest with myself about as I'm going this path, it is amazing and beautiful to feel that sense of integrity and recognize I'm not perfect. I'm going to stumble some more, but I'm showing up every day, and I'm going to keep on, growing. And I get to connect with awesome people like you, Crystal, and and all those sellers and folks out there. So it's dope that you're reading Chris Voss, and I can't wait to dig more. And yeah, that tonality and that mimicking, those two things, tonality, matching the people's tone, so important. We get to feel like we're not in a fake way, but we're connecting with people who connect with us on the level. And then that mimic stuff is amazing. Like saying the last 3 words of someone's name. We should start doing this even more so when we role play. So Thanks for bringing that up. It's amazing what it can do and how it can help us help other people. Heck yeah. All right. Rising tides lift all sails. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video and ask you any other questions you want to ask offline or talk about anything we want to talk about offline. But again, if you are watching this or listening to this, please like and subscribe. As we already said, it helps us get to so many people. You can follow me on or Aqua Team's journey at Instagram too, Aqua Team _properties. You find us all over Facebook at Aqua Team Properties. And Crystal, where can folks find you if they want to ask questions or check in with you or anything like that?
I have an Instagram, it's k.p _that's me. That's where you can find me.
Heck yeah. We'll keep all this stuff in the notes. All right. So you all take care. Peace.